Hello everyone and welcome to Season 4 Episode 3 of Fallout Wasteland Warfare Settlement Mode, and today once again we're going to be hanging around with the Children of Atom and indeed Atom himself. Have no fear though, we will be with the New Hope settlement for the majority of the season. It's just we happen to be back with the Children of Atom today. It's 8 out of the 13 episodes, which I believe I said in episode 1 that we will be with New Hope. But today we're not. We're going to get to see the Children of Atom for their second adventure on the table, with them doing Atom's bidding. I hope you've been enjoying it so far, and as always are looking forward to what's happening today. And on that note, let's take a look.
Quest 3, quest name Hunting for Frank. Another day, another raider camp with the potential to give up information about Frank's ferals. Atom knew he was obsessed. He wasn't that far gone not to see it, but what else did he have besides revenge? He needed the location of that animal. He knew he shouldn't have killed the mole Frank had infiltrate New Hope, but anger got the better of him. The only other potential leads were the other raiders in the region. The Children of Atom did whatever he asked, but they were hardly soldiers. Some had already died and more were likely to follow. Part of him hated using people for his own ends, but they were insane fools worshipping nuclear bombs. Truly nothing of value would be lost. All that mattered was finding a raider with the information he needed to get to Frank.
And so that is what we're doing today. The bandaged man, aka Atom, is here and he wants information from these raiders. He doesn't know for sure that they have information on where Frank is, but he is going to find out one way or the other. And on that note, he has brought some of his disciples, followers, and otherwise just lackeys who will do anything he says with him, and they'll throw themselves at the enemy if he so commands it. To go over who they are again, just in case you didn't see episode 1 or just want reminded, we have a preacher here who is equipped with the 44 revolver. We have 2 disciples right here. This one has a gamma gun, this one has a combat rifle. Then we have 3 just bog standard Children of Atom, 2 of which have gamma guns, 1 of which has a bolt action pipe pistol, and then Atom himself is equipped with a light burning in the darkness and is using the Burned Man's card, and also has mutations that we covered when he made his first appearance. So we'll cover what they're doing in a moment. Nothing much else to say because we're not with New Hope, we're not doing explore cards, etc. Hopefully during the flyover there you saw a little bit of who we're going up against. As per usual, getting deployed in the bottom right hand, well, right for you currently, of the table, red distance in, and after a quick message from my channel sponsor, we'll be back and I'll explain what they're specifically doing and how they're going to find, potentially, the information they seek today. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. Alright, we are back, and as a reminder, my channel sponsor does carry Modiface's games. In fact, I bought from them, not specifically for this, for Call to Arms, but still, they do carry both. And if you buy anything from that affiliate link, I do get compensated, so we both get something. Anyway, what are we doing today with the Children of Atom? Well, they want to find information, or specifically Atom does. The orders that the rest of them have from their spawn point in the bottom left corner of the table, right there, read in, as I said, is they're just here to basically cause a distraction and or to kill all the raiders, whichever happens first within 5 turns. Speaking of the raiders, we have 2 mongrels, one there, one there. We have 2 psychos with tire irons, I think, or pipe wrench, one of the 2. We'll talk about it when it comes up. 2 with pipe pistols, and then 1, where is he? There he is, with a machete. They also have a turret, but the turret was watching the road, so they've come in from the side. That turret won't necessarily see them unless someone decides to come around under here, or potentially there if there's a gap. So it might get ignored. It is controlled by the terminal there. Also, that is where one of the potential locations for information is there, and also this hut. So, you might have noticed Atom himself is not with the rest of his team. He is currently hiding behind the biggest house over there. In fact, because we're using shaky cam right now, I can show you. There he is, right there. His goal is not to really get involved in the combat. The others are there for that. So, he is going to activate last, no matter how many of the activations are left. He will activate last after everybody else. And his goals are, yes, he'll fight if he has to, but he just wants to get to those 3 locations, spend an action, and check. Like he's searching the houses, checking the PC, etc, etc. He is looking for information. That's all he cares about. Everyone else is just cannon fodder and a distraction. Simple as that. So, The win condition for them is he successfully checks those 3 locations by turn 5. If his whole team gets wiped out, so be it. If all the raiders get wiped out, that's an instant win, because then they can freely just search together. And yeah, I think that covers it. Not as much blathering, that's the word I was looking for, this time around, because we're not with New Hope. Let's crack on and see how this plays out. Hope you're looking forward to it. Well, it's actually the raiders who are getting the game started, because they are outnumbered, technically, including Atom. So, randomly selected, it was one of the psychos, and they just do psychopath things, i.e. charging into the enemy without a care for their own self-preservation. So it was the one who's furthest back. They move red, which is pretty quick, and that got her right down to the bottom left of your screen there, which probably means she's about to get shot at. So my first activation with the Children of Atom is going to be the Disciple, who is armed with the combat rifle. Not doing a full movement, I want them to stay back a little bit, and with a little bit of cover here from the rock. So didn't move the full red, but that's allowed. And they're going to take a shot, short range, with that combat rifle into that cycle to try and just show them the error of their ways. Because they're within the black aura radius of the Preacher, who's just out of line of sight. If you just back up there, they're right there. I can add a black, yellow, or green die. I'm adding a green to help the shot land. At short range, it is a black and a yellow die, and looking for 5s. So, with that all said and done, here we go, 1 shot. And it's a crit for 1 extra damage. I don't think the bottle cap does anything special for this weapon. Nope. So that is 3 damage against 2 physical armor and 4 health. They didn't block any of it, took all 3, and have 1 health remaining. That is a good start. Why can't New Hope roll this well? Oh, I vastly underestimated their threat radius. The Raider Outlaw was randomly selected. He is also being aggressive. They're Raiders, that's basically what they do. They're all insane. And yeah, with a charge distance of green after a movement speed of red, he can actually get into combat with the Disciple that just activated. Right down here. Had a little bit to spare, in fact. So, into combat, can't do anything this turn. On an X, the charge bonus is black. Nope, so he'll be taking a green charge bonus. So next, with the Children of Atom, I'm activating one of the bog standard Children of Atom, the one who is equipped with a pretty pimped out pipe pistol, but it is just a pipe pistol. Moved up and I'm going to just fire once at that Psycho to try and just get them off the table early. It's basically the same dice, despite it being a totally different weapon. The green die is from the buff from the Preacher. The chance to hit, though, is a very, very poor 3, which is also why I've taken the green die. And we'll see, an 8 comes down to a 7. Not good enough. It would have been shattering all its... Yeah, it would have been an insta-kill if it actually landed. Oh well, it's a miss. One of the raiders with a pipe pistol, the one who's furthest away again, I guess that's kind of a stroke of luck. Activated, also moving red though. They are not affected by the turret. Is that a dog hair? Those don't exist in the Wasteland. So he moved down here and then is moving here. He's got cover from the waste... I was going to say waste basket. That's not a waste basket. The skip. We call those skips here. I don't know what the American name is for them. Either way, he has cover, so if anyone's going to shoot at him, yeah, he's definitely going to get cover from whatever angle they can get to from where they are. But he's probably not worth going after immediately. Plus, if anyone goes after him too close, the turret will start helping him. No, apologies, I was glancing across the table at the Raider stat cards, and the Outlaw and the pipe pistol equipped ones actually just move yellow, they don't move red. Which technically means the charge shouldn't have happened here and he wouldn't be quite there, he'd be a bit further back. I'm going to move him a bit further back to account for only moving double yellow, but this, it's already happened, so I'm just going to, maybe he did some Psycho and that gave him the Psycho movement range. We'll just have to run with that. Apologies, missed that because I was just glancing at the stat cards from across here, so I was just looking at the Psycho card by mistake. I activated the Preacher next. It's important to keep her amongst her congregation, I guess, because then she's given out that nice big buff of choosing to put in an extra die to rolls, which makes them very, very potent. So she moves up yellow, she's also slow. That's also what partially made me notice the mistake there with the Raider movement. That 44 revolver has got range blue only, but that is good enough that she's going to try and take out that Psycho with just the 44. 2 yellow, same as when John, not Sturgis, uses it. She hits on a 5, that is a crit, breaks 1 armor, that means at least 1 damage is getting through of the 2 it does base, so that Psycho was over ambitious and is now off the table. Well, I guess the other Psycho took that death personally because it activated and their Psychos are reckless. So he is just charging forwards. He does move distance red. distance green from here was not enough to get into the combat that's already ongoing, so all he could do is this. He has partial cover from that tree, I guess, depending on the angle he might actually get cover bonus, also assuming they're not close enough. But yep, he's just charging in. I thought the dogs would be like the initial threat because they move so fast, and I figured they might get activated early, but that's RNG for you. So I've just got the 3 bog standard Children of Atom left, well, and Atom himself, but he's going after everybody, as I already stated. So I moved one of the 2 equipped with gamma guns up here, and I'm going to shoot into that combat because the Children of Atom are immune to radiation, so if he accidentally hits his teammate, it doesn't matter, it does nothing. So that said, this is what he will be rolling with the black die thrown in from the Preacher's buff, but it only really matters if he's hitting the right target. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 3 is his intended target, and he's hitting his friend. Well, the radiation just bounces off his irradiated skin and does nothing, so there's no need to roll. But I guess, you know, just out of curiosity, would it have hit 6? It would have missed anyway, so no, doesn't matter. So finally, one of the mongrels has activated. Specifically, it's the one furthest back, because of course it is. That's just the way RNG works sometimes. And I've decided, this is on the fly, I've decided to do this. This is not something I had planned. But for the mongrel activations, I'm going to open their activations with a perception check. They have a perception of 6. If they pass it, they have sniffed out Atom, and they will prioritise going after him. Because that, with everyone charging forwards, which I didn't take into consideration, a few of them had guns, but the ones without guns were the ones who activated. So that way there's a little bit of annoyance for Atom back here to interrupt him. So for this mongrel, it is very simple. It's a 6 or less, and it is a 6 on the dot, which I hope is visible. So that means he knows Atom is there and will move as if he is the nearest threat rather than any of the Children of Atom himself, which means he is going to double move around the back of this house here. That won't be enough for a charge, but he will be close enough to potentially be a threat. And after that double move, there is where that mongrel has ended up, and he has indeed sniffed out the hidden threat. So, got another Children of Atom to activate. I forgot this is the other disciple, but it's the one with the gamma gun who will actually be last. But this Children of Atom with a rubbish base chance to hit, although they have to have some negative because they have a lot of positives. Moving red here, still in black aura of the Preacher, so taking a black die with that gamma gun, shooting at that cycle. Can't see this combat here, don't want to risk accidentally shooting the wrong thing and having nothing happen. So it's on 3s, not great, but let's see. And that is a crit. Right there, hopefully that is visible. I just knocked it, but it was a crit. And it came down by 3. 1 extra damage, so that is 4 radiation damage. Do they have radiation defense? Let's see, which one is it? It's the other cycle. Cycles have no radiation defense, so I think they just melted them into a puddle of green sludge. Because that's 4 radiation damage. So yeah, that cycle is actually a green puddle. His hair was the only thing to survive. Okay, that was pretty powerful. It's the other mongrel that is activating of the 2 left. So perception check. Does it also know that Atom is there? That's a 2, no matter which way you cut it, so yes it does. So it's going to come down and round this way. And that is where he ended up. Probably not a good sign that the 2 dogs are the smartest ones in the camp. Well, besides Atom, this is the final activation for the Children of Atom in turn 1. It's the other disciple, the one with the gamma gun. He moved partially here so he could shoot into this combat. I was forgetting when you shoot into combat you actually get a +2 to your skill, but that wasn't relevant last time because the target was wrong. So that might happen here again. Again, 1 and 3 is the actual target. He is attacking the actual target. Okay, in that case it matters. He's got a gamma gun, which means yellow, green, black die thrown in for the bonus from the Preacher who's right next to him. Normally hitting on 5s, so he's hitting on 7s because he's shooting into combat. But a crit fail is a crit fail. That is the first one of the game. I should find a sound effect to use when a crit fail gets rolled, although I'd have to use it way too much because I roll a lot of crit fails. I wonder what would be fitting. It'd have to be a Fallout sound effect, but I'm not sure what. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I kind of like that idea. Final activation of the turn besides Atom is the other Raider with the pipe pistol. Can't actually see over this. This is meant for super mutants, I guess, with how high it is. So he had to come round with his first action, just moving it like less than an inch, so that he could see this Children of Atom. He's shooting at him with the pipe pistol, black plus yellow, hitting on, I believe it was 5s. I'll double check if that matters. And he got a crit, so it does not matter. It doesn't do anything else. That's a -1, so it's just 1. He's using just a bog standard pipe pistol, so it's just 1 base damage. It just goes through. Children of Atom don't have armor, so that's 1 wound to their 8 health or something. 9 health. Their basic guys have 9 health. That's ridiculous. Alright, end of the round. That means Atom is activating. Let's see if he can impress us with the light burning in the darkness. It rolls 2 black dice, range black. However, with his mutations, as I discussed last time, well, last time that they were on the table at least, he can choose to throw in a black or a green die in any dice roll he's making. He's throwing in an extra black die, so he's rolling the Grognak special. It's potentially so much damage. He's shooting at the mongrel that saw him first up the top there, and he is hitting on 5s. Let's see what happens. Well, he got a crit, and he does generate crits, I think. Actually, I didn't cover whether or not he's being classed as like having the heroic options, so because I didn't say it, I guess we can't. Either way, though, that is a hit for 3 damage. Mongrels have 0 armor. They're kind of like the Children of Atom in the sense that they just have pretty decent health, although they only have 6 compared to the 9 a bog standard Children of Atom has. So that is half that mongrel's health gone with 3 damage. However, for his other action, he's doing a little bit of a Superman and is leaping onto the roof of this building, yellow distance. So he's going to be on this side of it roughly here as we end the round. Well, once again, they're having an easy time of it. I underestimated their strength again. So much for Atom being worried that they're not soldiers. They don't need to be when they can just do enough radiation damage to melt a normal person who doesn't have any radiation defense. Like, that's true for most survivors and raiders. They don't have any built-in radiation defense at all. So they are very, very powerful against them, and that does not bode well. Anyway, event taking us into turn 2 of what was probably going to end up being the shortest episode of the season, I would imagine, because I don't think they're going to have much trouble mopping up these raiders. We'll just do this one. Mist sprayers. Let's try and get that in focus, please. Any second now. At the start of each model's activation, resolve 1 radiation damage. Well, that just makes things worse for the raiders, doesn't it? Because all the Children of Atom are immune to radiation. Okay. Well, I guess we know who Lady Luck's side is on this time. So yeah, Yep, so every time a raider activates, I think the mongrels might be immune. I don't quite remember. I'll check in a second. But yeah, every time a raider activates in turn 2, they instantly get 1 radiation damage. I won't bother resolving it for any of the Children of Atom, because as I say, they're literally all immune to it. It's the raiders going first as we start turn 2, because 2 of them melted in turn 1. And it was the first mongrel to sniff out Atom that was randomly selected, still chasing that bone, and has moved around the house to try and get him. That's where he ended up after he leapt onto the roof, and is just waiting for him to jump down. So he's kind of getting in the way of the objectives. But as I mentioned, with how fast the raiders are dropping, I guess in that regard, the raiders and the survivors, settlers, whatever you want to call them, those 2 factions being the first in the game, they both share a lot of the same negatives. And kind of the power creep that the game has had for newer factions affects them as equally, which is something to take into consideration going forwards, I guess, assuming that they're going up against someone who isn't as inept as the New Hope survivors. But that's behind the scenes stuff, I guess. Anyway, my first activation for the Children of Atom. Let's see what happens. So the Children of Atom, armed with the bolt action pipe pistol, activated, moved him over here. Was hoping to actually shoot at the mongrel just to do some damage before it gets into potentially combat, because it will definitely be able to do a charge if it activates quite quickly. But with only range black on that weapon, not good enough. So instead, he's going to rush trying to shoot into this combat. So, will it hit the intended target? 1 and 3 as always. It is a 1, which is hopefully visible. There we go. So he is hitting his target. Normally hitting on an embarrassing 3, was it? Yep. So he's hitting on 5s now. Taking a a green die bonus from the Preacher's buff. And that's a 10. That's basically a crit fail. Not quite though. And it comes down to an 8. But yeah, it's a miss. The raiders finally get a chance to do damage. This raider outlaw is activating. He's swinging that machete twice into his target, which is the disciple with the combat rifle. Extra green die from his charge bonus, and he is hitting on 5s, I believe. 4s. So, first swipe. That is a crit fail with a quick action. Can he do anything with quick actions? Not particularly. So then that green die goes away, and he swings again. That's a 7. He managed to whiff both times. I guess seeing two of his friends get reduced into a pile of radioactive sludge maybe threw him off a little bit. We're actually going to stick down here. I'm going to activate that Disciple and I'm going to make him pull away from combat. So a free swing from the Outlaw. Same dice we just saw, except this time it's only on 2s? On 2s. 7 comes down to a 5, not good enough. So he does pull away from combat successfully. And then he's going to shoot at him with that combat rifle at short range. So that is a black plus yellow. And let's take that green die actually with the bonus from the Preacher. All that good stuff right there. This is basically what I've rolled every single roll almost. Minus or additionally the yellow die. And this is on, for the Disciples, a 5. Good chance to hit. 7 comes down to a 6. I shouldn't have said that. He missed by 1. The other Raider with the pipe pistol activated. He moved forwards, not a full move. He wants that cover from the skip there. He's going to shoot into the Disciple that just pulled out of combat. A normal pipe pistol, not the bolt action variety, is 2 black dice instead of yellow and black. And let's see, he got a crit and he hit. Base damage of the pipe pistol though is just a, is that the one that's 1 damage? Yes. So that's 2 damage in total and it just goes through because they don't have any armor. Well, let's see if this Raider Outlaw will enjoy a nice hefty dose of radiation from the other Disciple, the one who's equipped with the Gamma Gun right here, taking a black die from the Preacher buff. And he's going to try and melt him, and he is hitting on 5s. First shot is a crit fail. Insert whatever sound effect here. And then, second shot, well that hits for sure. Breaks all armor, no extra damage though, so it's just the, well, I was going to say just, I keep forgetting, the Gamma Gun's base damage is 3. So that is 3 radiation damage, and that is so powerful. 3 radiation damage, leaving, oh, I totally forgot when he activated, he was to take 1 radiation damage. The mongrels, incidentally, are immune to radiation, so they take nothing. But yeah, I totally forgot when he activated to take those swings because of the Mist Sprayers event. He had 1 radiation damage on already, so unfortunately for him, he melted. That also means the Raider over here who just activated, sorry buddy, somebody accidentally turned on the sprinkler system and you got a healthy dose of radiation. But he's not dead, but still. So the other mongrel that's yet to activate, immune to it, but the other Raider that hasn't activated yet, he'll be taking that damage as well. And speaking of that other Raider, he was the one to activate. He has got 1 radiation damage behind him now. I don't know if that's visible or not. He's staying where he is and he's shooting at the Children of Adam that he did 1 damage to. Twice bolt action, sorry, just pipe pistol. And it is on 4s. That's a, okay, well thank goodness that missed because that would have been 4 damage. Just straight up because they don't have defense. Second shot. That is a hit for, well, you did close to it. That is 3 more damage. So that is 4 damage in total on them now. So that's, I think that might be the closest one of them's gotten to getting killed. That's kind of amazing. But, you know, whatever. So, that's it for him. That just leaves the mongrel. But I've still got a few activations as well. Well, I'm going to try and be a little bit gutsy with, pardon the almost pun I guess, with this Children of Atom. They're moving up, not even a full movement, just going to shoot at that Raider. He is partially obscured, so he is going to get cover, which means -2 to our skill +1 armor, although I don't know if that applies to radiation damage. It's an interesting question. Well, let's see if it matters, because I think they're going to miss anyway. So let's just pan down here, and it's down to basically a crit. And they got equivalent of a crit. Okay, I should have mentioned the black dice from the Preacher charge bonus. Well, let's just say the armor that he gets from being in cover gets destroyed by that, because it would anyway. And that is a casual 5 radiation damage. So cover or not, full health or not, you are a puddle on the floor, me old son. And he is out of there, leaving 2 doggos to defend the camp. On a turret. Oh sorry, no, and the one behind the skip. Now the interesting thing to note is the mongrels are immune to radiation, like I said. So that actually limits the Children of Atom quite severely to just the 2 bolt action pipe pistols and the one with the combat rifle to being able to wound the mongrels, which is why I was trying to do some chip damage to them earlier. But either way, the other mongrel that hasn't activated yet, they had a closer threat. They had that Children of Atom. They don't need line of sight to initiate a charge. They have that same rule mole rats have and whatever, and a charge distance of blue. Comfortably made it. Randomise whether or not they take the green or the black charge die bonus. They took a black on top of the mongrel bite, which is yellow, blue, black. And they hit on 5s or 6s? 5s. So, pan down here to the dice tray. And let's see if he lands a strong hit. That rolled out of the box. There we go. That 6 comes down to a 5. Oh, okay, so they don't have armor anyway. So that is 4 damage. Oh, so close to killing him. Leaving he's on 1 health. What does the bottle cap do? The bottle cap cancels quick actions, which is not relevant. So almost killed him. He's got 1 health left. Well, let's see if the crit feat can be replicated. That's F-E-A-T, you weirdos. By this Children of Atom right here. Not doing a full move because I don't want that turret to be able to see him. It is blocked by the diagonal line of sight here. He's going to shoot at the one in cover there though, so he basically needs a crit because his 3 comes down to a skill 1. So, that is a 7, which is not visible to camera, but it's just a 7. And he got the black die charge bonus from the Preacher. That Preacher's buff, giving them a choice of black, yellow or green on any skill roll, is so potent. Well, I guess not in this case because he missed, but you know what I mean. And speaking of the Preacher, it is the last activation besides Atom for the turn. She's moving up to keep on giving that massive buff, and her buff range is massive, incidentally. Like, it's a black ruler lens, so it's huge. Anyway, she's going to fire her 44 revolver into the combat over here. I forgot she had that, so she's also another one that can actually wound the mongrels. She might accidentally kill one of her followers, or fellow followers, so let's see who she's shooting. 1 and 3 is the dog. Oh dear. Well, Well, she might be about to murder her own... Yeah, she is going full commissar. She's hitting on 7s. She missed barely. Oof. Ooh, that would have absolutely killed him. So, thank goodness the shot went wide. And the final dice roll of the turn is going to be Atom, going last. Hop down off the roof. And he is not in combat, he didn't go base to base, but he is shooting at basically point blank range into that mongrel. And to help the hit land, he's not taking an extra black die this turn. He is taking an extra green, or rather a green in general, because he doesn't get one normally. And let's see if it lands. And he once again hits on 5s. Yep. And it was a crit fail. Adam, you're doing worse than your team, buddy. That would have been 5 damage for the record, which is terrifying. But yeah, that's a crit fail. So nothing. That means the dog's going to actually get the chance to attack him next turn. Well, the mysteriously activated sprinklers that were spraying radiation everywhere has now been resolved. Let's see what awaits us now. Supply drop. Place an item, well, it is an item, yeah, face up in a random direction, yellow from a random model with the highest luck. A crate falls from the vertebra bird, it pauses overhead. Well, because this isn't New Hope, this isn't really relevant to the Children of Atom. I did have a weapon set aside that I hadn't equipped any of them with, which I have right here to prove that I just have it sitting. I had a flare gun sitting because I was like, they're probably going to need more options going forwards, like if they ever have to fight super mutants or robots, you know, stuff that are immune to gamma guns. So I thought they should have an extra option for when that happens, but I wasn't sure who to give it to, so I hadn't yet. But you know what, that is a perfect event for them just saying to have found this fallen from the sky. So this will just be in their inventory for potential use in the future. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it's 1 energy damage, which they also don't do a lot of in general, so that's kind of helpful. And it has a chance to set people on fire within a certain radius if you get a star on the blue die. So it is the start of turn 3 and we're basically just going for a raider wipe, because that seems to be the most effective way to just say they have indeed won. But the raiders are going first. This one specifically, the last human raider, because then it's just 2 mongrels. He is going to shoot at the person who's already wounded with his pipe pistol because he just is petty and wants a kill because all his friends have melted. Well, he ain't going to do it by rolling a 7, well an 8 that comes down to a 7. Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, that hits, but it does just the 1 base damage because no extra damage and the pipe pistol is a bit rubbish in that regard. So that's him up to 3 of his... Oh, how much does Disciples have? It's 10, right? Yeah, 10 is so ridiculous. Well, you know, for the Children of Atom's first activation, I'm activating this Children of Atom, and he's just going to try and melt him, taking that black die bonus from the Preacher, and still counting as in cover, so it's just crits basically, or quick actions. Anything counting as a 1. And let's just see if he gets it. That is a 3 that comes down by nothing. That would have been a hit normally. Second shot. Well, would you look at that, he got a crit. And he did 1 extra damage, so that's 4 radiation damage. Oh, he already had 1 from the sprinklers. The sprinklers screwed them over so bad. Well, that is another green puddle on the floor. Would you look at that? That's disgusting. Well, there's just the 2 mongrels left on the table, and which one activated? Well, it was the one going after Atom. He did a charge die bonus, or rather, sorry, he did a charge. Got a green charge die bonus randomly selected, and he's going to try and nibble the mutated freak on 5s. And he got a crit. Breaks 1 armor, so that reduces him down to 2. 1 extra damage, so that's 3 in the double bottle caps. That is cancels quick actions, so that's not relevant. So 2 armor against 3 damage. He blocks 1, takes 2. But at the end of his activation he heals 2, or rather at the start of his activation he heals 2. I can't remember how I worded it, but either way I don't think he's going to get attacked by anyone else, so it's probably not going to matter. Well, let's see if the old preacher lady can actually shoot the dog and not kill her friend this time. On 1 or 3. Okay, she is shooting the dog with her 44. That means shooting into combat, her skill goes up to a 7. And again, she doesn't benefit, or doesn't get the benefit of her own buff, it's everyone else. That's a 10, lady, you whiffed bad. Second shot, is she hitting the right person? Yes, that's a 3, hopefully that's on camera. Okay, that's more like it, you got a crit. Broke 1 armor, they don't have armor, they just have lots of health, so that's just 2 damage through of its 6. But that's fine, that's a good start. Now that dog is activating, so you know what, let's just stick with it because there's no one else to activate, so he has to activate. Let's see if one of these children of Atom get unlifed. So, black, yellow, blue, twice, hitting on 5s. With no armor, so as long as one of these hits land, that's a crit fail. As long as one of these hits land, that's also a fail. Never mind. Well, the dog's going to get one more chance because in order to facilitate the ones who have bolt action, pipe pistols, etc. and the combat rifle having a better chance of just definitely hitting their target, I'm going to activate this one. He's going to pull back from combat. Actually, you know what? He could technically attack with... Yeah, you know what? Before he does that, he's swinging with an improvised weapon, which is just a green die for 1 base damage. And his chance to hit is a 3, so sure, why not? He got an 8 that comes down to a 7, okay fine. Now he's pulling back from combat, and the dog's probably going to eat him. But that's okay, he failed. So that is black, blue, yellow, and it's down to a 3 because he's escaping from combat. It's a crit. Okay, he's dead. He tries to get away, the dog grabs his leg, pulls him back, murders him. Someone finally fell. Alright, bit of a pull back shot here because all we have that we can do is bolt action pipe pistol twice, combat rifle twice. That's it. Yes, we have one of the disciples down here, but all they can really do is, I guess, move up because they have a gamma gun and the mongrel's immune to radiation damage, so the best they can get into combat and just like pistol whip. So, we'll go with this guy first, taking a black bonus from the preacher because I just want lots of damage to get through. So the chance to hit not being great, we'll just have to put up with it. And let's see, on 3s. Well, that's a success for 2 extra damage. The dogs don't have armor, and can they do anything with a quick action? They can do a prepare, but the turn's over after I'm done with these, so it doesn't matter. So that is 3 damage, which means he's up to 5 and has 1 left. So if this shot lands, he can actually just finish him. He got a quick action again. Oh, okay. Well, boom. The dog is gone. Which means all it really now comes down to is Atom finishing off the dog over there. So maybe if I just move the dice tray a little bit so you can still see, and we'll handle Atom. And because he's using the Burned Man's card, he has that rule for using his pistol in close combat. If armed with a pistol, improvised weapon, it would be green normally. You get 2 extra black dice, and on bottle caps, stun. So, fair enough. Sure, okay, well, he'll just do that then, and he is hitting on... Does he still get the negative? I presume he does. Well, actually, if it says you're armed with a pistol, your improvised weapon attack gets the bonuses. So, I would actually presume, no, you roll on his melee skill, which is agility, which is 7. I presume that's why it's worded the way it is. If I'm wrong, by all means let me know. So this dice, actually he can use his mutations to throw in a black die again, so why not? And he's just going to pistol whip it to doom. Yeah, that'll do it. It only had... Actually no, it's not dead yet, because he's only got 3 damage. That is... Oh, improvised weapon does 1 base damage, so that's 3. So that is exactly enough. Yep. So that is the dog gone. That is the camp besides the turret that the console there can turn off. So no threats, they can search to their heart's content, but do they find anything? Well, as the dust clears and the camp is thoroughly searched by the surviving children of Atom, and indeed Atom himself, they find no information regarding Frank's whereabouts. This Raider faction was unaffiliated with Frank's Ferals completely, and they were barking up the wrong tree. Meaning that they have wasted their day and all these people died for essentially nothing. But that will just make Atom angrier because he desperately wants that information and has not found it today. Also, very clearly, again, the children of Atom, very, very powerful. I have underestimated their strength again, and going forward that should not be a thing looked at positively, because they are not New Hope's friend. That is very, very important to remember. So I'm watching very closely how they're performing, because I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, so one day probably we're going to tangle. And how is New Hope going to cope with gamma guns that do ridiculous damage, preachers that provide massive buffs, and of course Atom himself? Now that is if things come to a head, of course. They might not, they might. It might be a little skirmish, it might be full-on war, who knows. But it is definitely scary rather than a good thing. So I think that's the important part to remember. And with that, as the sun sets, I will say thank you very much for watching another episode of Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Come back in a week to see what happens next time. We will be back with the New Hope settlement next time. And if you are a channel member, you will get to see it one day early. I know it's not much, it's just a little benefit to those who are willing and able to go above and beyond to support the channel, because it is very, very much needed, and also I'm very grateful for those who are willing to do that. You can also check out the channel sponsor, as I said at the top of the video, or press the thanks button. It all helps keep the lights on and keep this possible. Hope you're looking forward to seeing where the season goes. I will see you in a week for the next one. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the comments, and ta-ta for now.